Section 1. The Unfolding Crisis, a Snapshot. Today, Iran is navigating its deepest and most prolonged economic crisis in modern history. As of early 2026, a series of severe challenges touch daily life for citizens. The national currency has fallen to historic lows, making savings nearly worthless. Prices for basic goods are climbing at a staggering rate. Essentials are being pushed out of reach for millions. This is not just numbers on a report. It's a palpable reality, felt in homes, felt in markets, felt in workplaces across the nation. A complex storm, gathering force from internal pressures and from external sanctions. International bodies paint a stark picture. The World Bank projected the economy would shrink in 2025 and continued into 2026 as people voice frustration over worsening living conditions. This is stagflation. Prices rise while the economy fails to grow. The IMF predicts almost zero real GDP growth. Economic paralysis has fueled widespread discontent. Protests began in 2025 and continued into 2026 as people voice frustration over worsening living conditions. Section 2. The Vanishing Rial and Soaring Prices. The most immediate and painful symptom of Iran's economic crisis is hyperinflation. In late 2025, inflation rates soared to staggering levels, with official figures hovering around 42% and rising to over 48%. This means, on average, prices increased by nearly half in just 1 year. For ordinary families, this is not an abstract statistic. It's the daily struggle of watching purchasing power evaporate. A salary that once covered a month now barely lasts a few weeks. Savings built over years have lost much of their value, wiping out financial security. The rapid devaluation of the rial is the engine driving this spiral. The exchange rate is a direct measure of economic health and international standing. The rial has been in near constant decline, reaching unprecedented lows against the US dollar. By January 2026, the open market rate exceeded 1.36 million rials per dollar. That makes imports drastically more expensive. Smartphones, car parts, rice cooking oil. A weak currency and high inflation create a vicious cycle. As people lose faith in the rial, they rush to convert savings into more stable assets. Section 3. The Human Cost. From dinner tables to darkened factories, the economic data translates into real human suffering across Iran. One of the most alarming consequences, the rise of food insecurity and poverty. As prices skyrocket, basic food items become luxuries. Meat is now unaffordable for many. 7 million Iranians have experienced hunger. In 2025, some estimates suggested up to half the population lived below the poverty line. This means tens of millions struggle to meet basic needs. Food, shelter, clothing. The crisis reaches the industrial heartland. A severe energy crisis has led to daily nationwide power outages. Since early 2025, rolling blackouts of 3 to 4 hours are common. These power cuts cripple the economy. Half of Iran's industrial sector has been forced to halt production at times. Factories cannot run their machinery. Production lines stand idle. Orders go unfulfilled. Industry shutdowns devastate employment. When factories close, workers are laid off. Iran's economy has long been dependent on oil revenues, but this vital lifeline is now under severe strain. In a paradoxical twist, even as Iran managed to increase its oil exports in 2025, its actual earnings fell. This is because the country has been forced to sell its crude at steep discounts primarily to buyers like China, who navigate sanctions. The clandestine nature of these sales requires intermediaries. Complex evasion networks impose high costs. Analysts estimate that as much as 1/3 of the revenue from these oil sales never even reaches Iran's treasury. This revenue shortfall creates a massive hole in the national budget. The government relies heavily on oil money to fund public services, pay salaries, provide subsidies for fuel, provide subsidies for food. According to the IMF, Iran would have needed the global oil price to reach 163 per barrel to balance its budget in 2025. This figure is more than double the average global oil price during that period, highlighting the immense gap between the government's expenses and its actual income. This budget crisis forces the government to cut essential services or print more money, which fuels inflation. International sanctions led by the United States and its Western allies are a primary cause of this predicament. In summary, Iran is in the grip of a multifaceted economic crisis characterized by runaway inflation, a collapsed currency, widespread poverty, industrial paralysis. The daily life for millions of Iranians is a relentless struggle against rising prices and diminishing opportunities. Food has become scarce for many. Jobs have disappeared as factories go dark. Savings have been rendered all but worthless. This is not merely an economic downturn. It is a profound social crisis, eroding the standard of living and fueling deep public anger, as seen in the persistent nationwide protests. The causes of this collapse are a blend of severe international sanctions and chronic domestic mismanagement. The sanctions have effectively cut off Iran from much of the global economy, making it extremely difficult to generate revenue from its vast oil reserves and to conduct normal trade. Ultimately, the story of Iran's economy is a stark reminder of how interconnected our world is, and the universal human desire for stability, dignity, and a better future. I am Ray Montoya, and this is Economics.